Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I am so excited to have Brittany with me today. We will be talking about her journey on the Speak Your Way to using the Speak Your Way to Cash system and how she was able to get results. So without further ado, Brittany, how are you today?
I am absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about where you were before the Speak Your Way to Cash system came into your life. What role did speaking play? And give us all the details. Give us all the details.
So, honestly, before Speak Your Way to Cash, I was the person who knew about speaking, speaking in church, speaking at community events, but I didn't know speaking was an actual industry. It was just something people would ask me to do, and I would just do it, if I was available. And so I stumbled across your podcast, Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, sometime last year, and I just got hooked. Like, I was binge listening. I was like, wow, this is for real. And I was just intrigued because if it's something I'm already doing, why not find out how to monetize that? And it's something that I enjoy. So after listening to the podcast, all like binge listening to all the episodes and taking notes, I started landing like a lot more free engagements that had larger platforms. And so I was like, okay, so let me take it on up a notch. And so that's
let's stop there because I want people to get all the details. So you were listening to the podcast for free, taking notes, which I highly recommend if you all listen to the show. There are so many like minor gems just dropped from myself and my guests. So, okay, took notes on the podcast. Boop, that's good. And then you started getting larger platform engagements, but they were still unpaid. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
And what I want to say about the podcast too is you said a lot of little gems, but there are actually a lot of huge gems dropped on the podcast. It's just a matter of not just taking the notes, but actually implementing them. Like actually taking action. Yeah, like if you just listen and you actually take action, it works. Like you have really great quality guests on the podcast and they offer a lot of insight. I was honestly surprised that they go so deep in terms of sharing different tips and giving guidance. So definitely take advantage of the podcast. And then once I started landing larger platforms that were still unpaid, it was increasing my visibility, and it really gave me an opportunity to see how much I enjoy doing it. Because a lot of times you can enjoy doing a lot of different things, but it doesn't mean that it's something you really want to pursue full out. And so once I started doing it, I was like, yeah, like I kind of got in a groove and realized I really want to grow this. And so that was when I went ahead and signed up for the Speak Your Way to Cash live replay.
Okay.
And it was the replay. I wasn't even in the room.
Right.
And I wasn't even in the room.
For those of you listening, she's talking about the Speak Your Way to Cash course. So that's the course now. And it was recorded live. And we put it into these 7 different modules so that people could deduce the information that they needed to go to the next level. So it's now called the Speak Your Way to Cash course. Just so y'all know, because y'all are probably like, where do I find this? Speak Your Way to Cash course. I'll give you all the links. I think the link is posted here as well. But okay, go ahead. So talk about the course. What was wait. Okay, we got to go back. What were you hoping to learn before taking the Speak Your Way to Cash course?
So I was hoping to learn how to actually start, first of all, getting more attention, because I didn't really have a strategy for really pitching myself or even knowing how to really develop something. Because at first I was just speaking on whatever people wanted me to speak on. Like, hey, can you speak on X, Y, and Z? Well, sure. With my background as a teacher, I'm all for doing a little research, and I can pretty much teach anything, right. But what I noticed was it was kind of pulling on me, trying to come up with all of these different speeches or presentations that were so not related.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to have a much more refined and focused approach to speaking. And I also wanted to know, like, have a actual strategy and know how to pitch myself so that I can intentionally start creating income from speaking.
Now, I know there are a lot of people who listen to the podcast because we've surpassed like 12,000 downloads month over month. So we're getting listeners. People are listening to this, and there are probably some people that are like, I'm scared to drop an over $1,000 investment on a speaking class, or I'm scared to spend money on coaching for speaking. What were some of your fears, and how did you get over them?
Well, for one, if you have any doubts about investing in the course, that's why the first thing that came out of my mouth was the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast.
Right.
Because I knew from that, the type of value given on the podcast, I knew investing in the course, like, that was going to be, I mean, beyond powerful investment. You know, it kind of really alleviated any of those doubts that I had, because obviously if you're giving this type of information out for free, I felt like I could trust what was in the course. And also just seeing you being present, you know, even in the inside of the group, you know, being very responsive to the questions that we have and sharing different inside tips and different opportunities. You know, you showed up in a way that I felt like I could trust what you were delivering. And I mean, you're the perfect example of what we are trying to all build in our own way. So of course, anytime you're investing, it can be scary. But I mean, for me, what was scarier was just staying the same, like staying in the same place that I was in my life and in my business. That was scary because I saw these people all around making money doing what I was doing for free. And I just was at a point where I was fed up with, you know, just doing all of this stuff and giving so much of myself for free. Because I know the value I bring to the table. I just needed a strategy for how to put it out into the world.
And you are a life coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes so much sense because what you said was so powerful about, like, I was more scared about sitting at home watching all these other people who may or may not even be as great as I am at speaking get paid to speak. I was scared of doing nothing and continuing to get the same results. Come on, somebody. Because let me tell you guys, a lot of people are scared to invest. And what I actually have the opposite problem now in my business because I've seen the results of good investments. So because I don't invest in things that I don't have a referral base for, that I haven't researched, I've really never been scammed by a coach. So I hear a lot of people that are like, well, I was scammed by the coach and I didn't know that they were going to do this. Well, I mean, how are you, like, with all the information we have out there now? Don't just look at their Instagram followers. Don't just look at the numbers they say they post. Don't just look at the clients they say they have. Talk to people who've taken their course. That's why recently when people are like, should I come to the 2-day mastermind? I'm like, I don't know. I be tagging y'all. Talk to Brittany, talk to Teresa, talk to Dominique, talk to people who've come and have continued to buy every single program we put out. Like, talk to them. Because my theory on it is, like, if I can learn one thing that I did not know before from hiring a coach or a consultant, then it's worth it for me. I've gotten my money's worth because I know I could take that tip and I could work it and implement it and do what I need to do. So I just want to point out she is a life coach. So hire her for life coaching because her mindset is right. And and that may help you guys because I know that it is scary, especially when you think it's your last, which is why don't give me your last. Listen to the podcast. Figure out, you know, how to get some results from there. Take one of the challenges, one of the lower cost offerings, and then invest in the course, invest in one-on-one training. But that is so good. Okay, so I got distracted. Let's get back to the course itself. Because you said once you logged into the course, you saw the modules. Okay, what were your first thoughts and what did you pick up on first? What was your first, like, aha moment from taking the course when you actually log in and you get to see all the modules?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting so much. I really thought it was just going to be a kind of overview. I didn't expect so many tangible, actually action items that you can actually just go ahead and do. I think one of the most powerful sessions was building out your signature speech, and, you know, just how you made it so crystal clear as to how to just take a big idea and break it down, because sometimes when you hear, and especially when you're new to speaking and you hear signature speech, it can sound intimidating, like signature speech, and so you made it, you broke it down in a way that it made sense. And anybody, even if you're fresh, like super new to speaking, you'll understand how to create a very refined speaking business that doesn't have you all over the place. Like you have very concrete things that you speak on, and you know exactly what that looks like, and it makes it a lot easier for you to communicate that with confidence to other people when they reach out, because now you're not trying to figure out what it is that you do or what you want to tell them that you speak on. It's already crystal clear, like this is it right here. So that was huge in terms of the course, because that helped a lot. And the pitching, developing a pitching strategy was super, super helpful, because obviously that is what has gotten me here.
Hello. Okay. So did you hear me on that? Okay. Let me know. I know that a lot of folks are here to hear about how you landed your first four-figure engagement. What did you implement from the course that helps you to land that first four-figure engagement?
So first of all, you hit on mindset at the beginning. And that's one of the most valuable things that you included in the course without even actually, that wasn't even actually a module or anything in the course, was having the right mindset going into this. Speaking, the speaking industry is not this, blow up overnight type of thing. It happens for certain people who happen to go viral or something, or just the right person sees them and reshares a post or something. But you have to have a mindset of knowing that you're in this for the long game. And I think that really set me up for success when it came to pitching. Just knowing you're going to get no's, knowing that people are going to tell you not yet, knowing people, I had people who said, take me off your list. And I was like, all right, just having that mindset going into it and not taking things personally when they don't, just run to you like, yes, here's some money, come and speak, just having an actual strategy for pitching and knowing that, you have to fall in love with the process. We want to run and get the promise, which is getting booked for these engagements, but you have to be committed to things long term. So like my first engagement, they reached out to me about 3 months after I pitched them. I never heard back from them, never got a response or anything. So apparently they saw, personally, I pitched so many people, I don't, really take it personal when I don't hear back or anything. But I just assumed, oh, well, they probably trashed it or whatever. And the truth was they were apparently sitting back watching me. And so they reached out about 3 months after I even pitched them, but by the time they reached out, they knew they were ready. So if I had given up, they wouldn't have had anything to go off of. I would have stopped showing up just because I wasn't getting any answers, just because I was getting no's or I was getting not yet. So you have to be consistent. You have to show up even when things around you may not align with what you believe will happen. You have to keep going. You have to keep pitching. And I think that is what's so important, not pursuing this to say, oh my gosh, I want to be making 6 figures in my speaking business by next month. It's saying, I know I want to build a legacy, and this is one route to do it that I enjoy. And so when you're building legacy, it's long term. It's not this get rich quick type of deal, you know. However, there is money in it, and I know that it's a lucrative business, and I'm just getting started, but I already know. I know that I know because I've linked up with the best. And so, you know, when it comes to speaking, I'm always singing your praises, Ashley, because you don't give us fluff. You don't give us the around the way type of information. Anything you put your stamp on, it's really actually meaty. Like, it's straight to the point. It's actionable, which is something that I enjoy. Like, that is what I go for. People who can show, not just tell me what you should be doing, but saying, this is how. Like, go do this now.
Now, you mentioned you pitch them. And I know a lot of people listening are like, well, it's really hard for me to even figure out what to say in a pitch. Can I really take the templates that are in the course and use those, or will I have to edit them quite a bit? How easy was it to use the templates and actually use the templates that I gave you and edit them a little bit and get results?
Right. The template is all you need. I didn't send them any fancy. Like, I literally took the template and I may have customized a word or two in the template.
Dang.
A word or two.
I love it. And that's why, you know, that's why I wrote it. And I'm glad that you're breaking it down like this, because I could say it all day long. But for people, they're like, okay, well, I want to know someone who's actually gotten results. And Brittany's not the only one. I get private messages like every couple of weeks from students who are like, girl, just book this. Girl, just book that. And I'll tell you, I've also helped clients because I own Mobile General Counsel, the law firm. I've been helping consultants do large contracts, and we've been talking about licensing. I've recently helped someone go from, you know, get probably an extra $15,000, $20,000 out of a contract because we repositioned it in the language of the contract. So when I say there's money in this, there really is. Like, I see the contract, I see what people are doing both on the legal side through Mobile General Counsel and through the Speak Your Way to Cash platform. So this is good, because don't take my word for it. Okay, I didn't pay Brittany. She's not being compensated to be here. She's a real person. You can look her up. I told y'all to hire her to get your mind right. So like, this is what it is. Okay, so I want to talk through, you mentioned that you followed up with them. So you sent a pitch, you had to follow up because they weren't ready right away. And then, you know, after you followed up, how did you know what to do next? Did the course give you any tips on how to manage the client even after they're booked?
Right. The course is so detailed. It goes from the point of actually building out your speech, getting clear on that, and even how to pitch, how to nurture them, and how to onboard them. You know, because that's important as well, because you want it to be a smooth process for you and them, because you don't want to look like a thought leader and then get to the point of onboarding and looking crazy like, well, let me send you this email. Let me send you this email. Like, you showed us how to make it very streamlined so that you are able to show up as the thought leader you are from start to finish. And one of the things that you cover is the fact that different companies and organizations work differently. They have different timelines in terms of you know, being able to go from the point of knowing they want to bring you in to actually paying you. And so while I was waiting on one client to get, you know, the paperwork signed and all of that good stuff, someone else reached out. And so while I was waiting on one contract, I was able to lock in a second contract. So I actually got 2 in the same month. And so that's just the importance of having a strategy and showing up consistently, even when things around you things around you may look like, oh my goodness, we're in the middle of mass confusion. People are not hiring. People don't have a budget. That's not true. Those are limiting beliefs that we've imposed upon ourselves. People have money for what they want to have money for. So if you allow those, your own limits and beliefs to get in the way, it's going to hinder the ability of you to really access the abundance that's available to you.
Yes, yes. And now we hear the life coach coming out, giving us those mindset tips, which are critical. So you took the course, you talked about what the course covers, but you've also worked with me one-on-one. How was that experience booking a one-on-one laser focused strategy call? How did that work for you? What made you book that?
So once I started booking these contracts, I knew that because there are certain things that you just don't know that you don't know until you're actually in the thick of things. And so you have to be at a point where you welcome development at every stage and every phase of where you are, instead of just trying to DIY everything. And so why not, if I know that I'm serious about this, why not tap into the resources available to me? And so once I started locking in these contracts, I had additional questions like, how can I elevate this experience? How can I recreate this? And, so having that laser focused strategy session really gave me an opportunity to deep dive with the specific things that I had going on in my business. And so I highly recommend, building that into your plan, like not just saying I'm going to purchase the course or invest in the course and just let that be that. You want to always be consistent. You want to always consistently grow. So you want to just go ahead and make a plan to always strategically invest in your development at different levels. So you may not be able to do a complete overhaul to start with, but start where you are. Give yourself grace to start where you are, but then you need to commit to your growth. So understand the course is a starting point, but like having strategy sessions, and eventually I'm going to do the full overhaul, but understanding where you are, honoring that space where you are, but getting started and making it an intentional thing to strive for whatever is next. Like this is not a plaything for me. I know that this is what I want to do. And so why not invest in getting what I need so that I can not just show up, but I want to show up in excellence.
And let me be clear, like you are the type of person I want to work with. They talk about ideal client avatars, people you like working with. I want people to win. I don't want anyone to come to me, take all these courses, listen to the podcast for years, and then they're like, yeah, I haven't done anything. I'm just like, well, why? Like, why not? I don't understand it. And I feel that there are some people who, are watching and they're not ready yet. They're not ready to take the jump. They're not ready to make the commitment. And I totally understand that. And I love that. This is why the Speaker Rated Cash community has a free tier, the podcast, the Facebook group, the smaller trainings that we offer. But that's not going to get you noticed to making consistent replicable revenue every single month. That is a different type of person. And people can use speaking for different things in their business. But if you want to make money in speaking, it's not a free game. It's just not. It's not a free game. But you could. Now, I've also heard from people who listen to the podcast and gone ahead and booked a paid engagement. So it just depends on how you want to work it and how you want to play it. But during our session, me and Brittany talked about raising her rates. We talked about getting those rates up because she didn't tell y'all this, but she ended up getting a tip on her speaking fee. She was so good, the organization ended up tipping her hundreds of dollars, which means you need to raise your rate, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you, if they're tipping you, that means they're like, oh, this we got over. This was too good for too little. We need to be paying her 7, 8, 9,000 next time. So don't be afraid, you guys. When you start pitching and you're thinking, well, I'm just starting out. How do I start to get paid to speak? What should my rate be? Raise your rate. Raise your rate. And let me just say, colleges, $2,500, $50 to $5,500. Corporations, $5,500 and above. When you're talking about keynote speeches, $7,500 and above. Like these are just ranges. And I'm telling you, there are people at every stage of the range. But what I do not do, I do not compete on price. I do not compete on price. And some of you all may know this. There was an organization that wanted me to discount my price substantially by thousands of dollars. And they started talking to other speakers. And I was like, hey, you have to do what you have to do. I don't compete on price. Like you've already seen me speak. You know from that whether or not I am the perfect person for you. If you see someone else speak and you think they're better for your organization, then more power to you. But that comes from a place of not needing anything. I think people sometimes miss their blessing in the speaking world by being a little too desperate, being a little too excited to get on a big stage, being a little too excited to get their first client. Stay the course, do what you got to do, and show up as the boss speaker that you are. So this has been amazing. You've given us so many good critical tips about the course. Now people know what to expect. I did want to ask, you're also coming to the mastermind, the 2-day mastermind in October. So you're just coming to all the things. And I'm so stoked about the mastermind. What made you decide to come to the mastermind, and what are you most looking forward to in that setting?
Well, honestly, because the course was based off of the last Speak Your Way to Cash retreat. And so when I got so much value out of that, I immediately went ahead and signed up for this year, because I was like, I want to be live. Like, I want to be in the number, real time motion, getting all the good stuff. Because, you know, sometimes it's just a different energy when you're able to be present with other people, whether that's virtually or in person. And so I went through the course by myself. And so I was like, I know this experience will only be elevated, you know, being able to share this with other people. And just knowing how you over delivered in that course alone, I knew, you know, I needed to be in the room. I just needed to be there. And like, as you've been unrolling the things that we're going to cover, I have just been like bubbling over with excitement, because I know it's going to be good.
No, it's going to be so good. And if you're listening to this prior to September 15th, 2020, you can register. And we only have 8 seats left at this time. So it's July 28th, and we have 8 seats left for the 2-day mastermind. And I'll tell you guys, for that particular mastermind, I have to cut off registration early because we're shipping stuff. Because it will be a virtual mastermind. So we have to get ready. Okay. My team has been testing tech for the past 2 months, figuring out which tech will give us the most ability to network with each other. And we have some amazing platforms that we're going to be using to ensure that you all, one, can network with each other, and two, we can do we still are going to do our hot seats. We're still going to have amazing guest speakers from Forbes and Black Enterprise. 2 of my current clients have agreed to speak and tell you guys what pitches they throw out and what pitches they accept. So it's just like phenomenal. And I think we're up to like 5 guest speakers. It's going to be crazy. Like, I cannot wait for the 2-day mastermind experience in October. So if you're listening to this before September 15, 2020, check that out. It's ashleynicolekirkwood.com/2020 retreat. And just put in www before that. So www.ashleynicolekirkwood.com/2020 retreat. So this has been amazing. One, let me just ask you, you've invested at this point thousands upon thousands of dollars in Speak Your Way to Cash products, resources, services. Was it worth it?
Absolutely. You know, having a background as a teacher, you don't realize how those skills are transferable. A year ago, I wouldn't have thought that I would be a leadership trainer and coach. I just wouldn't have, you know, that I could take what I was doing in one industry and really create something totally different that's really more tailored to my personality. I don't have to fit someone else's mold. You know, I can bring my own personality to the table, my own experiences, and really transform lives on a larger scale. And so it's been absolutely worth it. It's going to continue to be worth it as I grow with the Speak Your Way to Cash community, because we're just getting started.
Yes, we are just getting started. Well, Brittany, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. Give us your website, your services, and how people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so I help unsure leaders increase, gain clarity, increase confidence, and take action so that they can show up powerfully. So any companies or colleges that want to train their leadership, I would be happy to speak with you. You can find out more about what I do at BrittanySherrell.com. That's BrittanySherrell.com. And I'm on Instagram at Brittany Sherrell. Thank you again, Ashley, for having me. And I'm super excited about October.
No, me too. I'm so excited. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to take the course, go to www.ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay. If you're interested in attending the retreat in October, go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/2020 retreat. All right. See you guys later. Thanks so much, Brittany. Bye-bye.